Do you want revolution? Do you want revolution? You are gonna get it. Thank you for revolution, Tony Khan, as we now have only 9 instead of 15 but better matches. And no way! We only have 1 match on 0 hour instead of 4. No freaking way! Thank you! In one and only 0 hour match, the real warrior who's now flying solo, that being Mark Briscoe, teams up with Lucha Bros to take on the national champion Josh Woods. 0% body fat Tony Nese, which is actually impossible because fat is indispensable to survive, but nonetheless. And the rich son of a gun Ari Daivari. While in the match they were not as untouchable as they claimed to be, and they were doing everything to avoid humiliation, because Briscoe and Bros were on a mission. It wasn't a match for the golden spoon to your mouth, but for a good nice speedy warm-up statement. They all didn't care about the rules. It was like a tornado tag team match, with no tags, and this is exactly what was needed for a good 0 hour warm-up match. Mark Sterling was distracting the official, and Ari Daivari crashed a notebook onto Mark Briscoe's head. Varsity athletes dropped Mark, but he is a warrior and he kicked out. Then Briscoe hit Daivari with the elbow drop and brought the win for his team. The best match you can make for 0 hour. I don't give the rating to it because it's not the primary part of Revolution. And starting the show right from the grudge match, Chris Jericho vs Ricky Starks, where despite his 1 victory over Chris, he is eager to beat him one more time, because Jericho called it a fluke victory, and that's why Ricky wants to shut him up for good. Through the entire bout you couldn't tell who's in control or dominating because it was reversal after reversal. They weren't ready for each other. At the same time, this is not Diamond in the Rust, because we understand that Chris Jericho is 52, and he is understandably kinda slowed down compared to his earlier years. Starks speared him and the Ocho kicked out. Meanwhile, JAS was banned from ringside. He didn't stop Sammy to run down and he got stopped by Action Andretti. Chris capitalized on Aubrey's distraction and used his Floyd, but Ricky blocked the Judas effect, punished him with many elbows, lifted him up, and dropped down brilliant Rochambeau to earn the decisive victory. I don't remember the last time anyone beat Chris Jericho 2 times in a row in a singles match, so this has to get Ricky somewhere anyway. Match rating is 3.25 stars. Next match, or should I say war, is between the natural heel Christian Cage, who generates heat like a vacuum cleaner, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, who's protecting his family. And the stipulation is new for AEW and it combines casket and buried alive matches, and is called the Final Burial. First you have to put your opponent into the casket and close the lid, and then your victim is going down for a ride into the abyss. Last time I said that their story is finished and he doesn't have to avenge Christian Cage, but after what Christian did and said to Jungle Boy, after his return and attack, Jack Perry just must put this man down and be his final nail in the casket. There is limitless disdain between these two. Christian was a skittish toxic snake, outsmarting Jungle Boy occasionally, running away, while Jack was tirelessly beating the hell out of him. It felt like a real story, real war. It was visible to the naked eye that Christian is much more experienced and smarter, and he was successfully using this veteran advantage. Christian Cage was still begging for mercy in an attempt to outsmart, and it worked as Jungle Boy was still hesitating, and the veteran took advantage with low blow. They were using everything, even the dirt in their path, against each other right in front of the casket to stay alive. Jack avoided fatal steel chair shot, ducked a devastating shovel attack, sucked the life out of Christian in a crossface with shovel, and finally released his killer instinct by finishing him with the concerto. Christian was done. All was left to do was to finish the process. He put him into the casket, took a moment and shut the lid, whereafter Christian Cage immediately took a trip down the abyss. It was a very special moment for Jungle Boy, burying his former mentor, and huge moment for his career. While he's not the World Championship material yet, which is by the way a matter of time, I would give him AEW All Atlantic Championship immediately. Give him the title, he earned it. Rating of this match is 3.5 stars, not more for a match itself, but for good storytelling in it. Next match is destined for masterpiece for the AEW World Series Championships, with sinister, mysterious House of Black challenging the Elite. House of Black were playing mind games throughout the weeks, and they are trying to intimidate the Elite, to weaken them so to speak. What I remembered nicely was a starting exchange of skills between Kenny Omega and Buddy Matthews. Technical games of Malakai and Omega were also breathtaking, and mind games too. Brody King was a solo game changer, and one-man wrecking crew just bulldozing through the entire Elite for a long time. Everybody was running high on everybody. Everyone met everyone. And those exchanges were fast and thunderous. Also, we had exciting and dangerous battle of leaders Omega and Malachi. Julia Hart tried to distract Kenny, but she paid for it as Omega missed BT trigger meant for Malachi and knocked Julia Hart out. And Omega was completely fine with it, and I support it. Black took positional advantage of it and hit Omega with Black Mass, but Nick Jackson saved the match. Later, House of Black nailed Omega with Dante's Inferno, but this time Matt Jackson saved the day. Later, both Jackson brothers saved Kenny from the final Black Mass and gave us the super kick party. The Elite hit BT trigger on Malachi. Buddy Matthews broke the pinfall. The Young Bucks tried their pile driver, but out of nowhere Matthews smashed Nick with knee strike. Matt Jackson immediately received Black Mass, lift up, and the final Dante's Inferno, where House of Black successfully finished the match and won those trios tag team titles. I like the Elite. They are entertaining and fantastic wrestlers. But they had to drop these titles already, because they already won them twice, and elevated new trios division nicely, where House of Black are the hardest and best trio to take them, and they must have won them. Or what else would be in store for them? I think nothing. And also it's a huge refresh for this division. If the Elite won, I think AEW would lose a lot of fans. I really think so. I like the Elite more than House of Black, but it was the case where I had wanted House of Black to win, because it would have been right on this occasion and it happened. Rating of the match is 4.25 stars. Three-way AEW Women's World Championship is next, and feels intensive as never before. Saraya, yes, Saraya already turned into obnoxious, disrespectful heel, and already wants the title, and in her way is Ruby Soho and proud champion Jamie Hayter. Saraya is representing former WWE superstars. Ruby Soho is still neutral and presents herself, and Jamie Hayter of course is the epitome of a homegrown AEW wrestler. Saraya was an absolute evil snake doing everything to hurt her opponents, but Jamie Hayter didn't have a problem being one-woman wrecking crew and demonstrating her passion. Hayter and Soho were breaking Saraya in half. She tried to make them stop, but it only worsened the beatdown for her. There was a big power bomb. Saraya got knocked, and Hayter won after a sudden crucifix spin on Ruby Soho. Toni Storm immediately attacked Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Saraya joined the beatdown, and after some hesitation Ruby threw heels out of the ring and seemed like accepted AEW side, but then Future shocked the champion lightning quick and wiped out Baker, took the spray and sprayed Ales on both Doctor and Hayter. And of course they all united, and their group is now called the Outcasts. While it will never be anything like NWO, and will never reach their level, it's still very similar to that, and there will be much noise from that. But at least Jamie Hayter kept her championship. Match rating is 2.75 stars. Destruction is in our way, and we get one hell of a slobber knocker of a butchery. And a Texas death match with Jon Moxley and Hangman and Adam Page, which can't get enough of each other. It's the recent fourth match against each other, and the disdain between them only rises and grows bigger. Hangman didn't feel satisfied with just pinning Jon Moxley. He wants to knock the hell out of him. Their third match with Jon Moxley's controversial victory only made their feud much more intensive. As a result, we have dangerous and thunderous Texas death match, where two animals were trying to kill each other with no remorse. Adam Page was looking even more aggressive than Moxley and fared very well in there with the psychopath that Moxley is. Just a few minutes into the match and they both were bleeding intensively. What else could you expect? Barbed wires, forks, chairs, tables, chain, brick. This is what real brutal war looks like. Hangman put Moxley down with pile driver and John landed headfirst in that barbed wire steel chair. You can't even understand what that pain feels like, and they are going straight through it. Moxley dropped Cowboy from the top apron into the barbed wire table at ringside. They were still slapping each other to death. Page missed back shot and received Death Rider and, listen to this, curb stomp into the brick. What the hell? But what's much more impressive is that Hangman survived it and got up. Moxley like a hunter immediately locked the bulldog choke, and Adam Page passed out, but got up after the count of 9. Page clotheslined John, started wrapping the chain around Moxley, but Ambrose hit low blow as the only way out. But Hangman leveled Moxley to the ground with the brick into the face. This is more devastating than taking a title belt shot from Roman Reigns, by the way. Moxley was still showing middle fingers to Page, but Cowboy didn't care and he hit backshot lariat, clotheslined him out of the ring, and literally hung Moxley, and in this position you can't lose via knockout. Passing out doesn't make sense too. Also, there is absolutely no way out from it, because chain is wrapped around his throat, while he is hanging to the ring ropes, and he is not all mass, so his feet don't reach the ground, and that's why he can't ease the pressure. So the only thing left is to tap out or simply die, and Moxley of course chose the first. Page absolutely proved that he can engage in the crazy hardcore and excel in it. And do you think this feud is over and they are going to shake hands? Not by a long shot. Even more, the Blackpool Combat Club picked up Moxley and they left through the crowd. And on the next Dynamite they all turned heel on the Dark Order and Hangman, so it's maybe just the beginning. Rating of this death match is 4.5 stars. Once the king of television again, Samoa Joe defends the TNT Championship against desperate, reckless, furious man on a mission, Wardlow, who has nothing to lose, and that's why he is the most dangerous he has ever been. They are both ready to tear each other into pixels. Wardlow was ruthlessly attacking and bulldozing Samoa Joe, but Joe, like a veteran that he is, was constantly meeting him with worthy counters, but nonetheless Wardlow was usually holding the initiative and dominating. Any moves they were doing to each other felt so real and impactful. Wardlow even gave the F5 to Samoa Joe. That's wow. Joe locked the coquina clutch, but Wardlow got his foot onto the rope. Wardlow powerbombed Joe from the corner and was looking for a symphony, but Joe stopped him with clothesline and was looking for his own symphony. And there Wardlow locked his own coquina clutch and he actually put him to sleep, as Samoa Joe didn't answer referee's freehand drops. What means that Wardlow took the title from Joe and it's his second TNT title. At least he exacted a sweet revenge on Samoa Joe, but one story ends, another begins. And a new one is even worse, as he first suffered a car burglary a few days later at night, and his gear, his TNT title, were stolen. And then just in 3 days on Dynamite he lost the TNT title to Powerhouse Hobbs because of QT Marshall, who now formed the alliance. But I guess when Wardlow returns, QT is a dead meat. And by the way, he's already a walking dirty dead meat anyway. So Wardlow has a lot of job to do, and I know he will. Just remember what he did to MJF in order to be his own free man. TNT Championship is changing hands too often, and this is the reason why it lacks the prestige. It lacks high profile matches. I mean 95% of matches for it happen out of nowhere and are extremely predictable. They have to change it if they want anybody to start caring about this title. Rating of the match is 3 stars. Upcoming match is a massive 4-way tag team match for AEW World Tag Team Championships. It's a pre-main event. The Guns, excuse me the ass boys, defend against Jay Little and Jeff Jarrett, Orange Cassidy with Danhausen, and the Acclaimed. First thing that comes in mind is that this match is made for jokes and fun, just to get fans laughing and fired up before the main event. I mean, each team from this match is one way or another associated with something funny. It's like a comical Speedy Hurricane before the serious slow main event. Nice. Jeff Jarrett looks amazing. He got himself in fantastic shape for the last year. 8 people were not enough for them, so even outside guys were participating in this chaos. Guns were spoiling everything for their adversaries, but they got tossed out by the Indian Giant, and he got confronted by Danhausen, where Hausen nailed Sonjay, and got choked by Satnam, who received Orange Punch, Low Blow, and Daddy Ass's Famouser to suck it, and their Guns from behind hit their father with double low blow to suck it. This is so much fun. Bowens hits Austin with the arrival. Caster gives the mic drop, but Colton breaks up the pinfall. Guitar chaos begins. How could it be without it? Little knocks out Caster with Golden Glow, and Jarrett hits the stroke, but resilient Max Caster kicks out. Danhausen wanted to play and fell into the trap called Shutter Machine by the Guns, which retained their belts. But it wasn't enough for the champs, and they started demanding respect from the AEW Galaxy and everyone else. And they got the answer in form of returning FTR, which are hungrier than ever, and looking for revenge after months of being mocked by the ass boys. And they beat the hell out of them, picked up the belts, and there is no doubt they are the next tag team champions if they stay in AEW. Match rating is 3.25 stars. The only match left is the gargantuan, imposing 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson vs MJF. Funny games are over. This is as serious as ever. This is where Danielson excels the most. He knows how to fare well in this kind of a long match. His cardio is better than MJF's. He has much more experience in long matches than Maxwell. The only thing MJF was relying on were tricks, traps, shortcuts, and outsmarting. Sometimes you're watching 20 or 25-minute match and already get bored and tired. But here I had my eyes on for the entire 60 minutes. These guys were really working their ass off and trying their best for the entire 60 minutes. They were wrestling the entire match like it's a 10 or 15-minute match. So this passion only deserves a respect. After 25 minutes of struggle, Bryan Danielson accelerated for Busaiku knee and scored the first fall in the match. And the match continues immediately. There is no any rest period. Just after that, Danielson tried one more Busaiku, but MJF fell down. Maybe as a strategy, because when he was getting up, he smashed Bryan's balls with a low blow and got disqualified. But this was for a reason, so he pinned damaged Danielson twice in a row to get 2 falls back. This guy is not afraid to risk it all and sacrifice something first for the better later, and that's why he wins. After this, MJF left the ring and lit himself up with water. But through the entire next 15 minutes, Bryan Danielson was slowly, strategically dismantling MJF with strikes. Also, MJF put Danielson through the announcer's table with the top rope elbow drop as a homage to the Macho Man Randy Savage. Also there, he put Danielson through the rest of that same table with running pile driver, dragged him into the ring, hit devastating heat seeker, and scored the third fall for himself. And here comes the water again. But swallowing a lot of water during a match isn't smart, because it affects your stamina. So this wasn't very bright decision. Maybe he did that because he wanted to piss Bryan on. Probably yes. But the only thing he started doing after it was pissing Danielson off and firing him up with slaps and pure personal trash talk. And there the American Dragon started making his comeback, drop him outside, land on him with a headbutt. And because of that headbutt, MJF started bleeding on his entire face. And in a minute after, Danielson hit Busaiku, applied Regal Stretch, and made MJF tap out. So 10 minutes left and we have 3-3. They tried to wear each other down as big as possible in multiple submissions. MJF planted Danielson with unique tombstone pile driver from the second rope. Just 1 minute before the end, Danielson started torturing MJF in a single leg Boston Crab. And he was doing it for the entire minute. MJF could barely hang on not to pass out or tap out. And he managed to survive and tapped out only after the bell. The match is over and they're equal 3-3. So MJF is still the AEW World Champion. And the medical crew started reanimating MJF. But fans were chanting bullshit. And Danielson didn't want it to end this way. And yes, wait a minute. Somebody is talking to Tony Schiavone, who came down to the ringside and told Justin Roberts that Tony Khan ordered sudden death rules. It means one more fall. I agree on this. We need the winner and end of this storyline. This fantastic match cannot end in a disappointing draw. The medical crew left the ring. The bell immediately rang. And MJF is lying on the ground alone against the world and encouraged Bryan Danielson. So there was no way out for him but to start cheating. He pushed the ref, blocked his view, and low blew Danielson and almost rolled him up, but not. Then he took his triple B, gave it to Bryce Ramsburg to get him distracted, and there tried Dynamite Diamond Ring shot, but Bryan reversed into Frankensteiner and knocked the champion out with Busaiku knee, who kicked out. Then crazy stuff began as Bryan once again locked him in a single leg Boston Crab. Bryan took the ring off, and MJF barely put his one middle finger on the rope. So Ramsburg turned his attention to Danielson to release the hold, and there just in time MJF tapped out. But as you understand, Bryan didn't see nor even heard it. MJF rolled out under the ring and pulled out his best final card by hitting Danielson that oxygen balloon. But the ref couldn't see what MJF hit him with. It could be anything. But the damage was done. He applied the lapel lock, where Danielson was still trying to fight off. But MJF was still holding on and Danielson had no choice but to tap out. So the winner of this outstanding, overbooking, extreme crazy match with 4-3 falls and sudden death overtime and still the AEW Triple B World Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. It seems to me like this match just outshadowed the entire show before. It was really hard, heavy, painful, difficult and serious monster match which you don't see often. Not only they gave it all in those 60 minutes, but they kept going on in overtime, giving us a beautiful thunderous overbooking. Match rating is of course 5 stars. If we sum up, we get 29.5 and divide by 8. and this is roughly 3.7. And what I feel like on a 10 grade scale is strong 8. They finally gave us the quality and not quantity. That's what I earlier was talking about and asking for. In the past, they didn't just have the time to make matches better because there were so many of them, like 15. But now they gave us 9, but amazing matches. Not a single match felt ugly. Nice. Thank you. Keep this up, Tony Khan. And now, this is my final thank you to you all. Keep it up with subscribing. See you yesterday. Goodbye. Meh. And good night. Bang.